What is the Matrix? Control. The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world, built in order to change a human being into this.
Did you know there is a fundamental knowledge about the nature of reality that has been hidden from the public for centuries? This knowledge not only reveals how the world works, but also how you can consciously influence it to create and manifest your own reality. As Morpheus showed us in The Matrix, there is a hidden system that feeds on our energy, keeping us trapped in an illusory reality designed to control us. While you go about your daily life, invisible forces manipulate your attention, your fear, and your beliefs to keep you in a low-vibrational state, keeping you in scarcity, both economically and in many other areas of your life, where you are simply an energy source for those in power. But the truth is that this knowledge is free and within everyone's reach. Reality is not an unchangeable prison, but a system that we can learn to navigate, use, and even crack in order to manifest the life we truly want to live. In this video, we will address the invisible foundations that govern our reality, through quantum physics, philosophy, and the understanding of the holographic nature of the universe. We will also explore the laws of vibration and resonance and how we have been programmed to live on autopilot, disconnected from our true power. But most importantly, you will discover how to reverse that programming and reconnect with the creative power that lies within you. We will uncover why attention is the master key to changing our vibration and, as a result, the reality we experience and attract. Finally, I will guide you step by step with a practical manual so that you can align with the version of yourself you wish to become and consciously manifest your reality. Get ready to open your eyes and take control of your reality. What is reality made of? There is an unwritten law, as old as existence itself. Not knowing how reality works does not exempt us from being subject to its rules. We can walk through life as unconscious passengers, letting everything just happen to us. Or we can understand those rules and begin to shape the board in our favor. And this is where the first big shift happens. When we stop seeing reality as something external, solid, and fixed, and begin to sense that everything we experience is, in truth, a projection of consciousness. Reality is not what it seems. Various scientific and philosophical theories point to the same unsettling conclusion. What we call reality might be a kind of simulation, a representation, an illusion generated by our mind or by a deeper field of consciousness. Jacobo Grinberg, with his synergic theory, proposed that there exists a unified field of information, a kind of invisible network that contains all possibilities. Our mind, by interacting with this field, projects a specific version, the reality we perceive. What is most disturbing is that, just as he was beginning to experimentally demonstrate this theory, managing to record the interaction between two minds connected beyond physical space, he mysteriously disappeared. Theories like the biocentrism of Dr. Robert Lanza point in the same direction. They propose that consciousness does not arise from matter, but that matter is a consequence of consciousness. In other words, the universe does not create life. Life, or rather consciousness, creates the universe. Like Grinberg and Lanza, many researchers, scientists, philosophers, and mystics have reached similar conclusions. Reality is not as solid or physical as it seems. Instead, it appears to be governed by a holographic principle, where consciousness is the true foundation of existence, not just a byproduct of the brain, as conventional science suggests. reality behaves like a hologram. What we perceive as the physical world could simply be a projection, a three-dimensional image that emerges from a more fundamental and subtle source of information, situated on a plane above that of our physical universe. In a hologram, each fragment contains the entirety of the information of the whole. It is not just an isolated part, but a complete replica encoded in every portion. A clear example of this principle is found in our own body. Each cell contains the complete DNA of the organism. Similarly, within us resides the complete information of the universe. We are a fractal expression, a microcosmic manifestation of the whole. This connects us with a universal field of consciousness where all information is available, although in our ordinary state we access only a minimal fraction. And here lies one of the most powerful keys. In that deep field, everything already exists. Past, present, and future are not truly separate. The linear perception of time, that idea that the past is behind us and the future has yet to come, is an illusion generated by our three-dimensional consciousness. In reality, all of time is contained in the now. And not only that, as quantum physics and particularly the many worlds interpretation suggest, all possible timelines already exist. Every decision, every emotion, every intention opens a parallel path that is already inscribed in the quantum field. Your consciousness does not create possibilities out of nothing, but rather chooses among infinite already existing paths, like tuning into a frequency on a radio station. This completely transforms how we understand manifestation. It is not about forcing something to appear, nor about attracting from lack something that doesn't yet exist. It is about aligning yourself with the internal frequency that allows you to access the version of reality that is already present in the field, the one that vibrates in coherence with your highest identity. Once this principle is understood, we see that reality acts as a mirror. It does not merely reflect what you desire, but that which you can truly sustain within. What your mind, from the deepest part of your being, recognizes as real or possible for you. It is that with which you are aligned vibrationally. What if all of this were a dream? Think for a moment about what happens when you dream. Within the dream, everything feels real, the sounds, the emotions, the people. But upon waking, you realize it was all a creation of your mind. Usually, while dreaming, that dream world is your only reality, and it is as real to you as waking life. However, once you awaken, you realize that everything happening in that dream was a product of your mind. What if, right now, you were living another kind of dream? A more complex, coherent, and shared one, but still a construction of your consciousness. This reality would then be another dream, but on a much greater scale, where each of us is a character within a grand dream that resides in the mind of the whole. And as we already explained, that whole is not something external to us, but precisely what we are in essence. Each one of us is an individualized expression of that same infinite consciousness dreaming this reality. Just like in a dream, when you become lucid, you gain the ability to control it, to fly, to change the setting, or to instantly manifest what you desire, depending on your level of lucidity. In real life, something similar occurs, but on a broader and more complex scale. Those who attain a high degree of lucidity in this great dream are able to exercise extraordinary control over reality. Figures like Jesus of Nazareth, Indian yogis, or certain Christian saints known for working miracles, levitating, or healing with mere intention are examples of this level of mastery. Perhaps those levels of mastery are not within everyone's reach, but it is possible to awaken enough to attain a degree of lucidity that allows us to manifest, consciously and coherently, a more fulfilling life. Tuning into the reality we desire is not fantasy, but the result of an awakened mind that has learned to align with its own creative power. This idea is not new. Many ancient spiritual traditions, such as Hindu philosophy with its concept of Maya, or the teachings of the Yaqui Indians about the shared dream, already proposed that the reality we perceive is an illusion, a projection moldable by consciousness. Today, quantum physics and idealist philosophy agree that matter, in its deepest essence, is nothing more than energy, vibration, and information organized by our perception. Vibration, energy, and the principle of resonance. In recent decades, science has begun to dismantle many traditional beliefs about matter. What was once perceived as solid and tangible, a table, a stone, your own body, is now understood as concentrated energy vibrating at different frequencies. According to quantum physics, atoms are composed almost entirely of empty space, 99.99%. Electrons don't orbit like planets around a nucleus, but behave as probability waves. They don't have a fixed position until they are observed. Deep down, what we consider matter is not a thing, but a vibrational process, a constant fluctuation of interacting energy fields. This completely changes our understanding of the world. If everything vibrates, and you also are vibration, then you are in constant dialogue with the field around you. You are not a passive observer. You are an emitter and receiver node within a network of frequencies. And that field responds to a universal principle. Like attracts like. You don't attract what you desire, but what you are vibrationally. The frequency you are tuned to determines which version of reality you experience. It's as if your consciousness were an antenna. Depending on your internal configuration, your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you access a specific band of the quantum field of possibilities. This is where the principle of correspondence comes into play, expressed in Hermetic teachings as within, so without. What manifests in your outer world is a direct reflection of your inner world. This is the basis of the so-called mirror law. The people, circumstances, and situations you experience act as projections of your own beliefs, emotions, and unconscious patterns. Everything in your reality works as a kind of vibrational echo. Your thoughts generate inner images. These images trigger emotions that emit specific frequencies, and these frequencies, in turn, interact with the quantum field. But the process doesn't end there. To materialize a reality coherent with that frequency, it's also necessary to act in harmony with what you think and feel. That is, your mental state, your beliefs and inner images, your emotions, which are energy in motion, and your actions, which give concrete form to that energy, must be in coherence. Only then will you be able to attract and sustain what you wish to experience in your life. Understanding this not only transforms your view of the universe, it also gives you back the power to consciously create your life. The control of knowledge and vibrational manipulation. It's important to understand that this knowledge about the nature of reality is not a lost secret or a casual discovery. Secret societies and the most influential and powerful people are fully aware of how reality and consciousness work. That's why they've kept this knowledge hidden from the masses for centuries. They use this knowledge to create and sustain the reality they want to project. They not only shape their own lives, becoming more and more powerful, but also shape the lives of billions of people through narratives and fictitious realities that end up becoming real for each of us. To achieve this, they use every tool at their disposal: the media, social networks, education systems, financial systems, taxes, an entire framework designed to keep the majority in a low, fragmented vibrational state, disconnected from their true inner power. We are trained to look outward for answers, to depend on external authorities, to doubt our own creative capacity. Because an individual who recognizes themselves as a conscious creator of their reality is no longer easily manipulated. This is why we're not taught to look inward, to explore our consciousness, or to take control of our existence. Waking up to this truth means reclaiming your power and freeing yourself from the patterns that maintain the illusion and limitation. You go from being a passive observer to becoming the architect of your own experience. Reclaiming power, conscious manifestation as a tool of freedom. Now that you know that reality is malleable and that your power has been systematically hidden and blocked, the question is, how can you begin to regain control and consciously manifest the life you truly desire? Manifestation is not magic nor a superficial trick. It is a deep process of reconnection with yourself and the vibrational field that surrounds you. It's based on understanding and working on three key levels that we've already mentioned. Your mind, with its beliefs and the way you imagine yourself and your world. Your emotions, which are the energy that gives strength and motion to your thoughts. And your actions, which anchor the vibration you emit into the physical plane. Next, we will explore how to consciously align these three pillars: mind, emotion, and action, to raise your frequency and begin to attract what you truly wish to experience. But first, there is a fundamental truth you must integrate. It's not enough to want something. You need to become the vibrational expression of what you desire. You cannot change the reflection in the mirror without changing yourself first. Only when you change does the reflection change. Because it is at that point where you come into resonance with the possibilities that already exist in the quantum field, and you begin to tune into that reality you long for. Practical Manual for Conscious Manifestation, Step-by-Step Training. Before getting into the steps, it's essential to understand that to manifest the reality you desire, you must first protect and elevate your inner vibration. This means stepping away from mental noise, external manipulation, and systemic traps designed to keep you in states of fear, lack, and constant distraction. Vibrational detox, recovering your inner power. We live in an era where social media, the news, and algorithms are designed to capture our attention through fear, comparison, and information overload. This not only weakens our mental focus, but also lowers our vibrational frequency, fragments our energy, and erodes our inner clarity. Remember this key principle. Wherever you place your attention, your energy flows. If you continually feed your mind with chaos, fear, or distraction, you will inevitably begin to resonate with those frequencies. Conversely, if you choose to focus on thoughts, content, and ideas that elevate you, your vibration aligns with more coherent and expansive realities. That's why the first step for conscious manifestation is to undertake a vibrational cleanse. Reduce your exposure to negative or sensationalist content. Limit the compulsive use of social media that fuels anxiety, comparison, or fear. Introduce mindful pauses to breathe, meditate, or simply disconnect from external noise. Nourish your mind with content that inspires you, stories that elevate you, books that awaken your consciousness, and tools for your inner evolution. As the Kybalion reminds us, via the principle of polarity, To emerge from a negative state, focus on its opposite. If you're immersed in fear or lack, deliberately direct your attention toward confidence, calm, and abundance. It's not about denying the negative, but about choosing not to fuel it with your energy. Rather than spending hours consuming shorts or content that overstimulates your reward system, providing immediate but superficial gratification, choose consciously where you direct your attention. Step 1. Connect with your inner direction. Everything starts with a silent, intimate, almost imperceptible decision, consciously choosing where you want to direct your life. Most people live in reactive mode, responding to urgent demands, meeting others' expectations, letting the environment dictate the course. But the external is merely a reflection of your internal state. When there's no inner clarity, the path is dictated by others. In that context, social networks, especially those built on short, immediate, addictive content, play a crucial role. Numerous studies, such as those conducted by MIT and UCLA, have shown that constant exposure to rapid stimuli reduces sustained attention and weakens long-term memory. This fragmented information overload not only disperses your focus, but over time can erode your sense of identity and direction. When you don't know where you're going, every notification, every short video, every viral trend pulls you in a different direction, until you lose sight of who you are. As Seneca said, "No wind is favorable for the one who doesn't know to which port they sail." Close your eyes. Breathe. Imagine that nothing and no one conditions you, that you can choose from the depths of your being. What kind of life would make you feel you're living with purpose? What is that place your soul would recognize as home? What would you be doing if your life reflected your most authentic truth? This step isn't rational. It's not a checklist. It's about accessing your internal compass, silent yet unerring. And when you align with it, everything begins to fall into place. Remember, without clear direction, the universe cannot respond accurately. Your internal vision is the starting point of all external creation. Step 2. Rewrite your story from within. Your thoughts aren't mere occurrences. They're programs that, repeated day after day, shape how you see yourself and the reality you experience. Your external reality reflects your internal programming. What's most revealing is that many of those thoughts aren't even yours. They come from your upbringing, early experiences, what you saw, heard, and lived. They also come from what you consume daily, the news, social media, conversations. All of that leaves an imprint. That's how the software of your mind gets written. That entire set of ideas and beliefs is stored in the subconscious, which operates like a silent operating system. A system that directs up to 95% of your behaviors without your conscious awareness. And this operating system is programmed primarily through repetition. If you repeat thoughts of lack, fear, or doubt daily, your mind accepts them as truth, and it starts seeking them out in your reality. But what was learned can be unlearned. What was installed can be reprogrammed. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between reality and what's intensely imagined with emotion. That's why visualization, affirmations, and symbolic actions are so powerful. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about observing yourself honestly and deciding to release the stories that no longer serve you. What limiting phrases do you repeat when facing a challenge? Where did they come from? Are they really true? What new story would you tell yourself if fear weren't in the way? Write affirmations that connect you to your new identity. Don't repeat empty phrases, choose words that evoke emotion and certainty. Repeat your affirmations upon waking and before sleeping, when your mind is most receptive. Visualize in detail and with sensation. Feel the version of yourself that's already living that reality. Act as if you already are that person. Every small action reinforces that signal to your subconscious. This requires consistency, but the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes, and the more coherent your vibration becomes. Your identity is the filter through which you manifest. If you don't update your self-image, you'll keep attracting from outdated versions of yourself. Step 3. Cultivate emotional and energetic coherence. Creating a new reality requires aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions. According to HeartMath Institute, the heart emits an electromagnetic field thousands of times stronger than the brain. When what you think, feel, and do are in harmony, that field becomes coherent, robust, and clear. That is the field that interacts with your environment, with the quantum field, with life itself. If you desire abundance but feel fear, frustration, or doubt, you deliver a contradictory signal. But if you think of prosperity, feel gratitude, and act with confidence, you enter resonance with that frequency. Here's something rarely said aloud. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you consistently vibrate, and your emotions are the most direct indicator of what you're emitting. If you imagine a desired future but feel like it's impossible, you're sending a contradictory message. If you give thanks as if it's already happened, you're activating that frequency right now. Start observing. How do you feel when thinking about what you want? Does it expand you or create tension? Invoke elevated emotions even without an external reason. Give thanks for what you already have and maintain focus on what you wish to manifest. This training allows you to exit emotional autopilot and become the conscious emitter of your frequency. Remember, it's not about forcing positive emotions. It's about tuning into them, from truth, from coherence, from your body. Step 4. Visualization and symbolic action. Visualizing is not just imagining for the sake of imagining. It is training your nervous system and your energetic field to inhabit a reality before it materializes. It is experiencing with your body what does not yet exist in the physical plane. The key is not to wait for something to change outside in order to feel different. It is to feel different so that something changes outside. Most people live waiting for change to arrive so they can allow themselves to feel joy, freedom, love, or abundance. But it works the other way around. Don't wait to have in order to be, and you will have. First, you feel. Then it happens. This is not just a spiritual metaphor. It has a basis in how the quantum field and your biology work. When you sustain an emotion as if what you desire were already real, your body begins to live that experience as a fact, and the field begins to adjust to that new frequency. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Seneca. Dare to feel it before you see it. Visualize with detail, yes, but more importantly, with emotion. Imagine how it feels to wake up in that place, to live that life, to be surrounded by those people. Your nervous system registers it, your subconscious accepts it, and the field hears it. What you sustain within builds outward, and what you rehearse emotionally becomes part of your reality. Step 5. Act as if you already were that person. Visualizing and feeling is fundamental, but you also need to take concrete steps that reflect that new reality you are creating. These actions don't have to be big or definitive, but rather simple gestures with meaning for your mind and subconscious. For example, If you want to be a confident person, start walking, speaking, and dressing like that version of yourself. Rehearse it in your mind and practice it outwardly. If you seek abundance, manage your finances with responsibility and gratitude, even if you're still on the way. Leave tips, treat yourself to a small indulgence. If you long for a healthy life, take care of your body with loving and respectful habits. Eat well, exercise a bit, act like that person you want to become. These actions work as clear signals to your inner mind. This is already real for me. I am living it. And that coherence between thought, emotion, and action strengthens the frequency you emit, aligning you with the reality you want to manifest. It's not about pretending, but about living from the inside out and syncing your mind and body with your vision. Step 6. Listen to the signals from the field. When your vibration changes and you align with your new reality, the universe begins to respond. You may start to notice synchronicities, meaningful coincidences, unexpected encounters, or ideas that suddenly appear. These are not coincidences, but the way the quantum field, or however you want to call it, sends you messages to indicate that you're on the right path. For example, people who enter your life just when you need them. Opportunities that seem to arise out of nowhere. Repetition of numbers, symbols, or words that catch your attention. Learn to observe them without becoming obsessed. Trust that you are being guided. When something repeats, when everything aligns, when an intuition is confirmed, you are receiving feedback. When you feel that everything fits and the pieces align, you are tuning into the reality you have begun to create. Final step, hold your frequency and trust the process. Remember that everything you desire already exists as a possibility in the energetic field. You don't need to force anything, just stay in tune with that frequency and remain there long enough. As you sustain a coherent, elevated vibration aligned with your vision, the field begins to reorganize in your favor. Opportunities, the right people, and synchronicities start to appear as a natural reflection of your inner energy. Time in this dimension is much more relative than it seems. Even if you feel that things are moving slowly or that your dreams are still far away, if you continue with these practices, there will come a moment when, almost without noticing it, what once existed only in your mind and heart will already be a tangible reality. And the surprising part, it often manifests with more strength and speed than you expected. You are not here to be a passive spectator at the mercy of the system. You are here to create and shape your reality, to radiate a frequency so clear and elevated that the universe will have no choice but to respond. What you've just heard is not just theory or a passing piece of advice. It is a call to take the reins of your life from the deepest place within you. Remember, the reality you experience is not a fixed destiny, but a constant creation. You have the power to choose where to place your attention, which emotions to nourish, and how to act in every moment. It doesn't matter what you've lived through or the limitations you believe you have right now. The choice is always in your hands, to continue reacting to an imposed reality or to become a conscious creator. And that shift begins with something so simple and so powerful as choosing what you focus your attention on. So, start today. Define clearly what you want, reprogram your beliefs, align your energy, and follow the signs life shows you. Trust the process, stay consistent, and open your heart to the magic of manifesting your best version. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope this information has been useful and enriching for you. See you soon.